Blah.
Right. I'm a genuine lover of sequels, and I do not feel guilty in the
Me
least.
too.
Right.
And Bob, why don't you just tell everybody your feelings about canon and your rigidity in regards to canon?
Well, it's not like I disregard movies that are made and it like a retcon. I don't disregard like retcons because the filmmakers intended that, and I will watch the movie with the retcon in mind. For example, the new Halloween movies or Texas Chainsaw Massacre has retconned like 4 times. Hellbound is a great movie. Responding to Dan.
What's up, Dan? Welcome to the stream.
It's a great movie. It's not a 3 though. That's a 2. That's number 2.
Doesn't count, Dan.
It doesn't count. Doesn't count. So I really enjoy when a series keeps the continuity and the new filmmaker has to work with what's been given to them. I enjoy that as an exercise. I don't like just throwing everything away. Like, even if it's the worst movie ever that came before, you work with what you got, and that's the creative
baton.
That's the creative exercise. I think we've talked about it in your channel before, is on the biggest world stage, I feel like Marvel did a great job with this with Age of Ultron. They didn't disregard Age of Ultron, and it became a pivotal movie, even though most people hate it. Like, that
I always liked it. I never had a problem with it.
I'm not trying to review Age of Ultron at all. I'm just saying the way that they treated the events of the story in Age of Ultron going forward was always with reverence. And even though it's kind of the one that's like the, redheaded stepchild type thing of that. So so I like in horror franchises, you got many of those disregarded sequels that they try to wash away. And I'm like, no, don't wash them away. They happened.
Wash away.
And now be creative and use the events. Just because it was executed badly doesn't mean the events can't be used for later properly, right? Like the story events, right?
Sure.
For example, too, I would point to tonal differences. Jeff, like, I love the movie Creed, right? Creed's a good movie. But tonally speaking, you watch Creed, and when they talk about how his father died, you think in your brain about the tone of Rocky IV, which I absolutely adore, but it's not remotely congruent, is it?
No, it's not.
At all. It's not at all. It doesn't work like that. But they use it like it's a deep, powerful, moving experience for Creed's growth as a character. But no matter what they do, it's still Rocky IV, which is great.
I can actually speak, I can actually kind of speak personally to this in my own experience, in my own work, in the sense that I made a sequel to a movie that doesn't actually exist.
Correct.
And the tone of the original movie was like super serious, like super dead serious, like revenge thriller. And the sequel is a goofy, punch up of trying to be like John Waters with film noir, like just ridiculous.
Every actor's chewing scenery.
Yeah, and tried to like mix the two things together. And you know what I've learned, and it's the same thing with Reanimator, it's the same thing with Return of the Living Dead. What makes it possible to mesh tones like that, your actors have to have conviction. If they treat,
and your filmmakers.
Yeah, of course. You have to treat it seriously. Whatever it is, if you treat it seriously, you will create a tone that might be both serious and ridiculous all at the same time.
Correct.
And it makes for it can make for an interesting film.
It'd be like if I made a dramatic sequel to my shorts with the same characters,
precisely,
and it's taken completely seriously. Right. It's possible. I could do that.
You could do My Cousin Vinny with Lon Pickleman.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I really enjoy watching, especially in the golden age of like the 80s and 90s, when they actually, for some reason, totally respected canon, and and each one had to start where the other one left off. Looking at the Fridays.
Precious respect.
Precious respect. I enjoy that. I'm open to the new filmmaker coming in with their vision, but I'm like, you had to start where the other guy finished. It's kind of like an exquisite corpse. Chucky. But it's an exquisite corpse of a franchise, right? You got to start where the other filmmaker ended.
Yeah.
I enjoy that, and I think that makes
the dead.
Right. I think that makes it more fun, to be honest. Makes the whole franchise more fun, even if the entries are bad.
I dig that. I really dig your take on that. I do. I really do.